Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Nuzzi. I'm a partner with the law firm of Brandon Isaacson. For those of you who don't know about us, Brandon Isaacson is headquartered in Lewiston. We have an office here in Portland, and we started out as a small Maine business. Two folks, Louis Brand, who went on to become the governor of Maine, and Peter Isaacson in the 1920s. Sometime in the near future, I guess we'll celebrate our 100th anniversary. I better get the date right, so at least it comes on the right year. And so we trace our lineage back to those two gentlemen who grew the firm. There are some folks with those names in the firms now, and I think through Ancestry.com they've tried to prove it, and we'll let them go with that. But we've had a chance to grow over the years and have developed a specialty in direct marketing, having grown with companies, family-owned businesses in the state of Maine that started off doing mail order business and now have become internet e-commerce businesses. So we represent about 100 of the largest internet companies across the country. But we still remain close to our main roots here, representing a lot of Maine companies, local Maine companies, doing everything for them, from formation, succession planning, and everything in between, employment law, litigation, and are very glad, proud to see a number of our clients and friends here tonight. And you can be both, it's not mutually exclusive. And I wanted to, before I go on any further, bring out one of my new friends, Rich Brooks. So Rich Brooks is the president of Flight New Media, also happens to be a neighbor of ours in our Portland office, located 2 floors below. He does they complain about the music that we play, but I'm complaining because once we moved in, no one came by with the cookies. Welcome us to the neighborhood.
I'll get you the cookies tomorrow.
Okay. Right. I don't like sweets. We'll figure something out.
How about bourbon?
Perfect. So Rich started what became Flight New Media about 22 years ago, hatched it in his living room, as a number of family businesses get hatched in the living room, kitchen table, and he has grown it over the years to a national level company, and he speaks nationally on entrepreneurship, digital marketing, social media. He founded what's called the Agents of Change. He's a change agent. Annual conference, and does a weekly podcast which focuses on digital media. He also co-founded Fast Forward Maine, another podcast and workshop series for growing Maine businesses. Rich is also the author of The Lead Machine, Small Business Guide to Digital Marketing, a very popular and well-received book that helps entrepreneurs reach more of their ideal clients. Rich, stage is yours. Good luck.
Thank you. So it's my experience that there is no one thing that leads to transformational growth, because growth is not a one-directional journey. So when I had the opportunity to come here and speak to you and talk about our growth and talk about how you can grow your company, there were so many things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about putting on live events. As mentioned, Flight's been putting on the Agents of Change Digital Marketing Conference for the past 8 years, where we bring together over 300 entrepreneurs, owners, and marketers, our ideal clients, to an event which helps establish Flight New Media as a thought leader in digital marketing. And although most years we break even or make a small profit, most years, really the win here is the fact that we've gotten dozens of new clients that's led to revenues in the 6 figures since we started putting on this event. That was one thing. And then I was like, no, I want to talk about podcasting. I'm super passionate about podcasting. As you heard, I've got 2 podcasts going right now. One is Fast Forward Maine for business owners and leaders here in the state. And the other one is the Agents of Change podcast, which is all about digital marketing. And for an agency like Flight, we have a pretty good name recognition here in southern Maine. But once you get outside the state, it's not like a lot of people know who we are. But the Agents of Change podcast has a global reach. There are literally subscribers all over the world who are subscribed to this podcast. And because of that, and maybe because they hear my voice in their head, thanks to their earbuds, that they have grown to know, like, and trust us. And these days, now some of our biggest monthly clients discovered us through the podcast. And so when you start your podcast, you're suddenly going to have access to a marketplace and marketplaces that you couldn't get access to before. Marketplaces like Apple Podcasts, formerly iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and Spotify, and a bunch of others. They're going to give you free shelf space to get in front of your ideal customers. That's very powerful. And then I was like, no. I'm going to talk about how to write a book. Because when you write your book about your company, your journey, your industry, you are suddenly elevated to such a level of authority that it's going to blow your mind. And suddenly people are going to be asking you to write for their magazines and sit on a panel and speak at their events. And it's going to be easier to close business. Because when clients come to your office and you hand them this physical product, you can literally say, I wrote the book on the subject. It's really powerful. And the best part of it is, when you do this, you get access to the biggest marketplace in the Western Hemisphere, which is Amazon. And you'll find that people will discover you solely through doing searches on Amazon. It's incredible. And then I was like, no, you know what's really good, Rich? Talk about masterminds. I don't know if you guys, is anybody here in a mastermind? Literally, I'm one other person. All right, great, this is your work for next year. So, masterminds, when you get a group of like-minded people together to work on their business, to help each other out. So I've been involved with a number of masterminds, including one right now with 3 other digital agency owners. And every 2 weeks, we get together on a video conference call, and we open our books, and we share everything, warts and all, about our people, our profits. We talk about revenue issues, about growth, about organization charts, whatever it is. And over the 18 months that we've been doing this, all 4 of our companies have grown together. It's incredibly powerful. But then at the end of the day, I decided that what was ultimately going to happen was I was going to talk about this thing, because when I think about Flight's growth path, it looks like this. It goes up, and then it goes flat. And then it goes up, and then it goes flat. So there's these periods of growth, and then these periods of, I don't like the word, but stagnation. And whenever we got to one of these points where I felt stuck, where I recognized that we were stuck, I did one thing, and that changed everything. And that one thing was, I let go. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is letting go, if you're the owner. What do I mean by that? Well, when I first started, it was just me. It was just me, one-man show. I designed all the websites, I developed all the websites, I did all the sales and marketing, and through some hard-working connections, I started to get some clientele. Back then, the tools were very rudimentary. In fact, I was hand-coding most stuff. But then the tools became more sophisticated. And as they became more sophisticated, one thing became painfully clear to me and anybody who saw my websites. I suck as a designer. And I realized that if I wanted to continue getting better jobs and more interesting projects, I was going to have to hire a real designer. I was going to have to let go of my ego to grow my business. And I did. I hired a designer. I let him take on all the best jobs, and I took on over, the mediocre ones, and I developed everything, and I focused on sales and marketing, and we grew. In fact, I had to hire a few more developers just to keep up with the work. And when that happened, and I was still doing development work, we grew, and then we stalled out again. And what I realized was, even though I liked development, and I was good at it, that when I was doing development, I wasn't doing the other things to grow the company. So I stopped doing development. And when I did, I suddenly could focus on sales and marketing and this new thing called project management. If you know anything about project management, it requires great attention to detail, a lot of organizational skills, and the ability to see things through to the bitter end. Those are 3 skills that I do not have. And so for a year, I struggled painfully to make this work, but then gracefully and gratefully, I let go. And I hired a project manager who did the work effortlessly and just made it look like it was magic. And I could focus on new things. And those new things included blogging, which was brand new, and writing email newsletters and speaking on stage. And it turned out I loved it. And I wasn't half bad at it. In fact, a number of our clients started asking me to help them with their own marketing plans. And I love that too, because I love talking to people about their business. But the problem was that they also wanted me to do the work for them, which I don't like doing. So I did it for as much as I could, but again, I realized I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. So I hired some marketers because the jobs, our growth had stalled. That's what happened, back and forth. Every time there was an opportunity to grow, it was because I let go of something. And most recently, and it's brand new, I was introduced to the book Rocket Fuel, which is this model of visionary and integrator at the top of your organizational chart. Now, I'm not comfortable with the term visionary, but when I read the description of that person, it sounded a lot like me. Somebody who likes being on stage and being in front of people, somebody who likes cutting-edge technology and staying in front of people, somebody who's got a million great ideas but can't actually implement a single one of them. And then I read the description of the integrator. And the integrator's role was somebody who doesn't like the limelight, shies away from it, but can create systems that will get your organization running flawlessly. And will take the best ideas from the visionary and put resources and people and budget behind it so that they actually get done. And that sounded like Lindsay, who I was just about to elevate to Director of Operations anyways, so it worked out perfectly. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the next great step of letting go and growing my company because it's only a month old, but it feels right. So my message to you today is this. If you're the owner or controller of the company and you feel like you've stalled, your business is stalled, and no amount of hard work or longer hours is doing anything to improve the situation, then let go. Find someone in your organization, elevate them, or hire somebody new to take that work off your plate. Somebody who's more passionate about that job than you are. Somebody who's better at that job than you are. So that you can focus on the ways that you bring value to the company. And invest in the personal and professional development of your team. And when you do that, and you let go and get out of their way, then you too will begin to see transformational growth. Thanks, everyone.